not so fast, Jimmy. Dame time may be over because Nikola Jovic has been on... 1 second. Hey, please don't hang up. Listen, I changed my mind. We'll send you Damian Lillard. You send us a second-round pick, and Nikola Jovic... It's too late, Joe. Listen, earlier today, it was at like 4 a.m., so I certainly wasn't watching the game. I just saw the highlights on Twitter this morning like the rest of y'all. But Serbia dominated South Sudan in the FIBA World Cup, led by Nikola Jovic, who had 25 points on 9 for 9 shooting. That is perfection. Y'all remember that game? That's a bit of a throwback. Now, I will say, after watching the highlights, a lot of his shots weren't super tough. He had a lot of open threes. He had a lot of easy layups, although there was some heat check, tough shots towards the end that he made. However, a lot of the open threes that he got was from phenomenal off-ball movement and passing, which is the same way Duncan Robinson was able to thrive in the Miami Heat offense. Well, before he couldn't hit an open three anymore, but that's besides the point. But this was exciting to me because it's easy to see a clear translation of how Nikola Jovic would fit on the Miami Heat. Even his jumper looks NBA ready. I mean, we always knew he can shoot, but his release looks even quicker. His follow through looks even stronger. His arc looks even higher. His arch game is on point. And the one thing that you like to see from these young NBA guys in national competition is how they stack up versus non-NBA talent. Well, for the second game in a row, Nikola Jovic took home the player of the game. And in the actual tournament so far, on only 23 minutes a night, he's currently averaging 17 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists on 75% shooting from the field, and 67% from 3. That is the type of domination that you want to see. You want to see these guys set themselves apart from the non-NBA competition. And on Serbia, a team that's currently undefeated, they are still 3-0. He is the second leading scorer, only 1 point behind Bogdan Bogdanovic, who's been a known bucket in the NBA for quite some time. And of course, fit-wise, he is perfect for the Miami Heat. We mentioned a little bit about his off-ball movement and how he'd be able to fit with the playmakers like Bam and Jimmy around him. But most importantly, it's the spacing. For years, we've had the joke, half joke, kind of serious about we need the perfect 4 next to Bam, which really just means someone that's tall and can shoot because we know Jimmy's not shooting threes. Bam is not shooting them yet. But I guess Jimmy's not shooting them to the playoffs. That boy becomes a sniper in the playoffs. But anyways, we know what those guys provide. You still need spacing in the starting lineup with them. And it's clear Nikola Jovic is a sniper. And he's 6'11", which helps because I feel like we've been running small ball lineup forever now. And the biggest guy we had was like PJ Tucker, who was like 6'5". But still, even outside of Jovic, they helped remedy that with guys like Thomas Bryant and even Orlando Robinson, who may make an impact this year. But in the starting lineup with Bam, it would be nice just to have some other size. And he seems like a really good kid too. I mean, we saw Eric Spoelstra hang out with him when they were all in the same city for FIBA or whatever. I don't know how that works, but he seems like he has a good head on his shoulders. He seems like he's a hard worker, and he seems like he is truly NBA ready. I mean, that was the thing that we had always said about Jaime Jaquez. Maybe just because he was a little bit older, I certainly wasn't watching a lot of him in college. And hey, maybe Jaime Jaquez is ready also. But it's hard for me to sit here and say that Nikola Jovic isn't. I mean, even the way that we see him drive in the paint and attack the basket, his footwork looks solid. He doesn't look like just a bull in a china shop just driving in there. He looks like he knows how to use his body. He looks like he knows how to finish. I think if Nikola Jovic is on this roster, he's a guy that can contribute this season. So all of that being said, would I trade Nikola Jovic for Damian Lillard? Absolutely. But and honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm in the minority on that. I want to bring up this tweet from Siobhan of Miami Heat Beat, who, by the way, I am a fan of hers. So no disrespect. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I do respect her as an NBA basketball analyst because I think she knows what she's talking about. I will get a lot of comments on these videos from just randoms saying, oh, I would never trade Nikola Jovic for Dame, and I just don't know the credibility of those people. But Siobhan is someone that I do think is credible, and she's been very strong on the kind of anti-Damian Lillard bandwagon for the whole offseason now. Now, I don't know if it's because she truly doesn't think Dame is that valuable or just strictly because she doesn't want to mortgage our entire future for him. But in this tweet, she basically says, I told y'all, but no, Operation Dump It Off for Dame is still where so many of y'all are. Oh, Miami can't score? Oh, we need Dame? Just a bunch of whining everywhere. No, you don't, and you never did, but whatever. Keep this one. So she came out very strongly. She's feeling herself after this Nikola Jovic game, which, I mean, maybe rightfully so. The guy looks a lot better than a lot of us thought, but this is still a tweet. This is a take, an opinion that I do not agree with at all. Okay, Nikola Jovic played like 15 games last year, barely. So I really don't even count him as a guy that was a contributor last year, because he wasn't. And when you're talking about a trade for Damian Lillard, the ideal package that I'm looking at realistically is, let's say, Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, 3 firsts, and Nikola Jovic. Okay, Kyle Lowry was terrible in the playoffs. Tyler Hero didn't play. Nikola Jovic obviously didn't play. The picks, I don't care about those. You have Jimmy Butler for another couple years. I'm trying to win a championship now. So you're essentially losing nothing, or you're losing no real contributors to your NBA Finals run, or no good contributors at least, because I don't think Kyle Lowry was that great outside of 2 or 3 games. You're losing no contributors, and you're getting Damian Lillard. In theory, that alone should make you a better team. Now, of course, you lost Gabe Vincent, you lost Max Strus. Those guys are very, very important contributors. But I do like some of the guys you brought in, like Josh Richardson, like Thomas Bryant, for example, to help with the size issue we had last year. And whatever free agents are still out there, like we keep hearing Kelly Oubre and Christian Wood, who are good players. But outside of all of that, I understand it's not as easy as just saying, hey, you're losing Tyler who didn't play, you're bringing in Dame who did play, they should be in the same spot and win it. That's not how any of this works. There's a million different factors and variables that don't make it that easy. But I still think it's ridiculous kind of relying on a 20-year-old to save this roster when you have Damian Lillard, who is an all-time great, who wants to be here. Truthfully, I think it's a little disrespectful to Jimmy Butler. There's a little bit of parallels there between what the Blazers are doing to Dame, bringing in Scoot Henderson, saying he's going to help them, and then sitting here and saying, hey, Jimmy, we got you help after 4 years of staying in the same spot. And that help is a 19-year-old Nikola Jovic and a rookie in Jaime Jaquez Jr. I think it's a little disrespectful to Jimmy. That's a guy who wants to win now and maybe only has 2 years left at this high A level. You can't wait for a guy Nikola Jovic to develop, even though he very well may be one of the best players in the league in 5 years, but you just don't have that kind of time. And if you want to talk about fit, Damian Lillard is the perfect fit on this team, even from an age standpoint. A guy who wants to win now, which is not something you could say about Nikola Jovic, who has no experience, but even as a basketball fit. You talk about stretching the floor, nobody does that better than Dame. You talk about a point guard that could run an offense if Jimmy isn't out there or Bam isn't out there. You talk about a guy that could get you some buckets when you go on these 3, 4, 5-minute scoring droughts that we saw a lot from the Heat last year. Dame fixes all of that. He's the perfect fit on this team, and for that reason, I'd be willing to give up that package that I said earlier. I don't know if I necessarily would give up all the picks and Jaime and Jovic and Caleb, but to be honest, I might. Because at the end of the day, Caleb was the guy you found out of nowhere. Jovic and Jaime are guys that didn't contribute last year. And I have enough faith in the Miami Heat to find the next undrafted guy or find the next diamond in the rough to add to the roster to build around the stars. Because I'm a true believer, you get the stars, you get the best of the best, and you figure out the rest later. Because you don't win championships in this league with guys like Caleb Martin and Duncan Robinson. You win championships by getting the elite. And that's what Damian Lillard is. But no hate to Siobhan. I definitely get where she's coming from. And if you're somebody that agrees with her and doesn't want to trade Nikola Jovic, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. That's pretty much all I got for this video with regards to Nikola Jovic. I was really hoping to get a Miami Dolphins Jonathan Taylor video out, but of course, Jim Irsay and the Colts kept on to him. He'll be on the PUP list, can't play the first 4 games, so maybe the Dolphins revisit the whole Jonathan Taylor thing a month from now. I do want to talk about the Hurricane Idalia, which thankfully is not coming my way in Fort Myers. Lord knows I had enough to deal with last year with Hurricane Ian, which is a direct hit here. But I do just want to say to anybody that is affected by the storm, I think mostly in the areas from Tampa to Tallahassee, I hope they're doing okay. And I do want to shout out my favorite comments from last video. This one is from my guy, Hans Duro, who said, bro, I rocks with you and all that, but why you have to hate on Kyrie and Booker like that? if y'all want to see me snap on Kyrie and Booker and a player from every other team in the league, check out my last video where I talk about the player I hate the most on each roster. And I also got to shout out my guy, the Nasty Man, Darius Jordan, for the $10 super thanks, who said, the Nasty Man has the trade in the like section. That was a bit inappropriate, so I don't care to elaborate. But if you follow Darius Jordan on Twitter, you know. But if y'all want to leave a super thanks, that's somewhere down below. And of course, all the support like that is greatly appreciated because I put a lot of work into this. So I hope y'all enjoy. And if you do, leave a like, subscribe. Helps out a lot. And I'll see you next time.
Starting with the pro, you already know. Bye, bye, bye. That's my baby gold. Give and get buckets, that's quid pro quo. Watch you on the top 10 list, Mojo. You two can shoot from the logo. I'll be seeing you cook, putting dudes in the blender, then leaving them shook. As you only getting better, I'll be praying for defenders, and I calling you a Kindle because you like the book.